dun, da, 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 da. Yeah, it's March Madness time. Favorite time of the year. God's big joke to me was to make my favorite sport, basketball, at 5-5 on a good day after a long night's sleep. It doesn't really lend itself to the game, but I was a point guard in high school. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, we still have a lot of March Madness in real estate as well. But I hinted last week at something that might start to kind of break the logjam of such low listing inventory. And I had the privilege of talking to my attorney friend and client, Melissa Porter, who is the principal managing partner of Logs, the law firm of Gerald Shapiro, one of the top real estate law firms in the Twin Cities. Melissa does a wide range of things in real estate, but her firm's main focus, I believe, is foreclosure activity. She represents lenders who reluctantly have to pursue folks that have fallen behind in their mortgages. And I say reluctantly because it would be a bad rap to Melissa or anybody else in that field to think of them as evil Bartleby the Scribners that are just out for money. Overall, what they really try to do, especially these days after we went through such problems back in 2008 to 2010, they take more of a amenable approach, I believe. It's in their best interest to try to, when it makes sense, to restructure loans and get people back on sure footing and not have these houses enter foreclosure or actually be foreclosed on. So Melissa and other attorneys have to follow their fiduciary duty, which is serving their client. But at the same time, they do try to do anything reasonable to keep these folks from sadly getting kicked out of their homes. I'm going to talk next week about the Twin City market, the micro market, and how foreclosures might affect things. Today I'm just going to go through what the foreclosure process really is. And it is a method for these lenders to try to get folks to catch up and to eventually recover mortgage amounts, or at least most of them, they hope. At day 30 of someone being late, they have to send out a notice to tell people that they are late. And then there's about 120 days go by. And then the kind of official process can start. Sometimes you see, if you look in the major publications, Star Tribune seems to be a big depository for these now. You'll see notice of foreclosure notices. One day about 3 weeks ago, which got me really thinking. I'd seen them going up, but there were maybe 5 pages, maybe not complete pages, but 5 pages of these foreclosure notices. And they started coming kind of as a boatload after the foreclosure moratorium due to COVID expired in December 31st, 2021. So just briefly, 30-day notice on the letter. After 120 days, a lot happens. The borrower and the resident of the property gets a notice of pendency. Also, that's when you see that publication come out in the paper. 80 days after that, we have what we call a sheriff's sale. And some of you may be familiar with this. These sheriff's sales take place at the county that the property is located in, at the courthouse. And usually, the lender who holds that loan is going to be the buyer that buys that first position. And that gives them a right to proceed with foreclosure. There's a 6 month to a year period of time after that sheriff's sale that borrowers, mortgagees, have the legal right to catch up on their mortgage, to redeem, so to speak. Very few people in these situations are able to do that. They're under greater financial stress than would allow them to do that. And so if the lender holds that paper, sometimes we have private investors going to sheriff sales, and paying a little bit more than that loan amount is, and they take first position. But after 6 to 12 months, if that home hasn't been redeemed by the borrower, then the home is foreclosed on. And again, the bank doesn't want to own the home. Banks want to lend money against homes. They reluctantly take possession of these homes, and that's where we might see additional inventory come out of this. But it's going to take, as you can tell by the timeline, it's going to take maybe 8 months to a year for that to start showing up. I've got some other stats as far as what the Twin City market's doing that Melissa so generously shared. She gave me a half an hour of her time. So I have more to report next week. So let's look forward to that, and we'll get into some micro thinking about the Twin City market in general. Have a great week.